Good morning. Today is the 21st of October 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan and levels for today, which I'll be watching. Before we do that, let's just check to see what news could move the market later. So Monday the 21st, we had a Fed speaker on just a few moments ago, and not really seen a great deal from that, and we haven't really got much today. A couple more Fed speakers, 1 o'clock as well, and one after market. Tomorrow, nothing really. What could move the market? Maybe the Fed speaker at 10. Wednesday, lots of news, but nothing of high importance. There's a few there, home sales. Thursday, just Friday really is the next time we've got news that could move the market. But I think we've got earnings coming in this week as well. Some big ones coming through, so we might start seeing the market move. Okay, so let's look at the levels. Let's start off with ES. We're looking at the 1 hour time frame for the S&P 500 E-mini futures. And we've been watching this level now for some time. And we can see we've rejected from it a few times, come into it, rejected, and then we come back up to the level we were really watching, which was the top area of this area of supply, and then after market we just seen it just fall down. So the levels are great, they're just not happening in the first thing in the morning, so maybe could you start watching these as swing trades potentially. We have got a bit of a trend line as well, so let's draw that in. I wonder if we can start from here. So that depends how you want to draw the trend. We've got a broken trend there, and we're still in the trend there. A bit of a trend line there as well. So let's go with a more recent trend, which is that one. And we're kind of just linking pivot points together. And you can see we've come in, we've retested this trend line. So what I'm really watching for today, if we can break down below pre-market low, and we break this trend line, I quite like the idea of a break and retest short. We've got a potential target, and that's this lower area of demand, which we've been watching for a few days as well. And we can also watch that area for a bounce, 58.60 for a bounce. Maybe keep an eye on the 200 moving average, 58.70 area, 58.65 area. Watch that area for a bounce as well. So just keep an eye on this region, and I quite like it because we've got, it's an area we've got bottoms of pivots there, bottoms of pivots there. So we've got volume coming into it as well, and we've yet to come back to retest that area. So I do quite like that area for the bounce. For the rejection, I'll consider yet Friday's high again, that area there for a rejection. One thing we can look at as well, we can probably see this pattern forming. Let's just draw it in. We've got this shape here, and it's a ascending wedge pattern.
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
We are running between these levels, between these trend lines, and we can watch. That's why I like to watch that area for a potential rejection, and then we can watch for a potential bounce if we get back down again. But we're getting to the point now where we're tightening up, and we're going to see something happen. Either we're going to see it break out, and that'll be my next play, the break and retest, or break down. Again, I quite like the break and retest. At 5900 level could be a key area if we do break down on the short side. But we can keep an eye on that as well, so just bear in mind that's a pattern we could be watching for. Another pattern we could be seeing as well, and we could be looking at a left shoulder here, a head and a right shoulder. So this could be a head and shoulders pattern. We don't need the neckline to be flat like that, but we can see that we've got this neckline here as well, which is that trend line. So we could also watch for the break and retest off this neckline. So break, retest, and then short. So that's two potential setups we could be seeing. We are in an uptrend, so we've got to favour the long, or I'm trying not to be too biased, I don't want to favour the long really, but I do quite prefer that pattern to break over the new all-time high we set a few days ago. but we are pretty extended if we go onto the daily and even the weekly. If you look at the weekly, we're far away from the 8 moving average. My pen. So we're some distance from that. We're some distance from the 20. We're some distance from the 50, and a big distance away from the 200 moving average. And if you look at the 8 moving average on the daily, we don't spend much time above it. This is an area here, and we came back to it. Another area here, we came back to it, and we kind of run all the way up. You can see lots of touches, running all the way up, lots of touches, and again running up, and then we got maybe a couple more days before, if the history repeats itself, before it comes back down again. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 1, 2, 3 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days before it came back to touch the 8. So you know, this is a bigger gap now than what we've seen previously, probably down here. So I want to keep an eye on that as well. If we do come back to retest, I do quite like the retest of this region here. So we tried to retest it a few times, put in some bottom tails, but we're yet to break out and come back to retest. So this 5800 could be a daily bounce area or daily swing. So that's an area to keep an eye on the daily. And also notice the lack of volume as well, really below average. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what happens when we come back down. So I've got my alert set already at 5800, and I've got 5900 as well, another alert I've got set for as well. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. And if you look back again, you don't get many 6 green days in a row. You've got 4 there, 2, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. You know, this was the last time we had more than 6 in a row, and that was going back to October last year. So I'm looking at the weekly, not the daily, I meant. So 6 weeks in a row. And that's when we started this big uptrend as well. So we are due a bit of a pullback on the weekly. Let's go down to daily as well. You can see the volume is even more tailed off on that. Really below average, with declining volume as price is increasing. So there's a reason I want to keep an eye on that. And again, you can look at the daily is exactly the same. We pretty much trail the 8 moving average, and we do come back to test the 20, and we haven't come back since October. So let's see where we are. So going back to that weekly level 5800, that's the reason I quite like it. It's because we are right there, and I quite like the break and then the retest of that level for long. I am currently short. I've been short on NASDAQ for a few days, for about a week now, and it just doesn't want to go short, so maybe I'll get out of that today. That's it really. So let's just go back to the hourly and just confirm the levels. We'll look at the order flows. A little bit of divergence going on right now. So the levels we're watching is a rejection at 59.13, that area, 59.20. Then we're watching for a break and retest long into new all-time highs. If we lose Friday's low and pre-market low, I quite like the break and retest of this trend line. But we are still in an uptrend, so I've got to favour the bounces, and I do quite like the bounce down at 58.55 to 58.60 as well. And we can watch 5900, which is a psychological number, and that's the area to watch if we do break down. What's that, 59? Sorry, I meant 58.80 area, so whatever this level is, the pre-market low level. Let's just mark it in as well, that level there. So I'm watching that level for a breakdown and to break this trend line. So that's the area I'm watching. So let's just quickly flick over to order flow. So this is my order flow screen. And you can see there's a bit of a divergence. Let's just draw. So we've got increase in price, that's on the footprint. We've got increase in price on the 2-minute candle, and interestingly we've got decrease in price on the cumulative delta. So that's basically showing me that we've got a lot of selling into this level, but it's been bought up by the buyers. and so we're absorbing this level of it in the minuses as well for the cumulative delta. So potentially we could see a bit of a change of trend around here. So we just bounced off that lower trend line, so that could be the change of trend. What time was that? That was at 8 AM, and cumulative delta was going on before 8 AM as well from the early hours. So decreasing price, and then price slightly increasing, but cumulative delta just kept going down. So it could be something. We could see a bit of a change of trend today potentially. We could even just be coming into that break and retest area of that trend line. So we've got to keep an eye on that. So there's a divergence. Any areas we can watch for support or resistance? We've got this area here where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of controls all in the line with each other. No real big orders up here though. That's where we had some big orders before. And on the 30-minute chart, nothing really. So I'm going to give the market an hour or half an hour after it opens to see what direction it picks, and then try and find an entry. I really want to get a uptrend entry if I can, to go with the current trend. So maybe we can watch for the break and retest of 5900, which is the level here. That area there, 5900. And that's a pre-market high as well. This region we can watch for the break and retest. I do prefer the break and retest of yesterday's high. Okay, so let's quickly move on to SPY. And again, we've got the same pattern. We've got this trend line coming up here. We've got this pattern going across there. You know, we are consolidating, and we could have potentially looked to break out. So I do quite like the break and retest of Friday's high, 585.40 area. We can also use that as a rejection area to come back down. I also like the break and retest off that trend line as well. So pre-market low is the area I like on SPY. I like it as well because it's an area of confidence as well. If we lose that area, we lose that area of confidence. So break and retest of 582.33. SPX. So got levels in place. So if we lose yesterday's low, then we're coming into a 50 moving average. So bear that in mind if we're looking for a short. This region here. And then our next bounce area is not until we get down to this region. We can see a bit of a volume spike as well in that area as well. So if we do lose that area, and assuming the 50 moving average catches up as well, we could lose both those areas, and that could act as double confirmation. NQ, not being able to get back to the all-time highs. It's quite far from there. And again, just putting in that head and shoulders pattern. Just zoom out a bit. Not the greatest one. It depends how you see it. If you look on the weekly, you've got this area here. So it's a bit thick, that pen. Potentially that's the pattern we can watch for. Let's just bring that thickness down a bit. Neckline can be this region of confluence. I always remind this, it reminds me of a bat, like the Batman symbol. We've got the wings, we've got the head, not the best drawing, and the wings again. So I quite like the break and retest of pre-market low. I also quite like the break and retest over Friday's high into this region, and we've got this rejection zone as well. Last time I was up there, we had this big rejection down. Couldn't quite get there. So maybe we might just break out, or we may just lose it entirely. QQQ. Again, we've got this neckline area around 491 down to 490. Quite like the area for potential bounce. We've got the 200 moving average in that area as well. See what happened last time, hit the 200. Big push back up. So maybe we can watch that again. If we can get above pre-market high, break and retest long. And then I quite like the rejection at 496.80. Again, only because last time I was there we couldn't get above it and we lost it. Crude oil. It's broken this region, potentially retesting it as we speak, so we can look for a sell set up here, and that's around 69.80. We can be a bit more cautious, draw a trend line and wait for it to break that trend line, put in a double top and rejection. If we can break out over this region, we can watch for a break and retest. We've got a bit of a gap before we retest the next levels. So break and retest of that area there, just mark it in, 70.50. There's not much else to watch for. We've got a few rejection levels. Gold is on fire right now. Hopefully some people's got some gold in their portfolio. Saw the break and retest a few days ago. I meant on Friday. I didn't play that. I wasn't trading Friday, and it's just been going up and up since. So the only area I quite like for the retest will be this region, 2700 for a bounce. And then is anything closer? Let's have a look at it on the daily. So big moves up, but reducing volume as well. Yeah, I still quite like that area there, 2700 for the bounce. Pretty extended. Look how extended we are from both the 8 moving average, from the 20, from the 50, and from the 200. You know, if we can get back down to this region and touch the 200, that'd be a great long, probably for long-term portfolio. But I still quite like this region here for 2500 for a retest. If we come back down into there, I quite like that. I'm not sure why I got the alert there, but I think that's probably a little area of confluence. Tops of that candle, bottoms of them. We can probably watch a retest of that high from September as well. I think that's one we just marked out anyway on here. Yeah, that's September's high there, so that's probably the best place. I find it hard to go long when it's so extended, hard to go short when it's so strong. So a pull back into this region is probably what I'll be waiting for. RTY, which is the Russell 2000. Okay, unlike SPY and Qs and ES, that neckline area we've been watching on them, we've broken it and now we were testing it. So now is a good short opportunity. If we can set up, find a sell set up into that area, break down, I think that'll be a great resell, sell set up. Big area of confidence as well, tops of pivots, bottoms of all those pivots, and we're retesting it now. So if we can find a short, I might keep an eye on that one. Let's have a look on the 5 minute. Okay, so if we can break that trend line, let's just draw it in on here. So that's our current trend. And what we can look for is a break of that area, maybe a retest of Friday's low short, and that would be a great, or put in a, or we could just buy, put the stop there and buy on the break of one of these candles, depending on when you trade in, 5 minute or 10-15 minute. And then there's a bit of volume above, and we've got to get above, we've got the VWAP and we've got the 200 moving average on the 5. So, but that's what I quite like, is holding this VWAP. Potentially we could break out of it. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Every time you want to knock on the door before it breaks it. But keep an eye on that. That's probably one to watch for a sell setup. And then YM, which is the Dow Jones. Let's go back to the hourly. It's looking pretty strong. Got this trend line. Holding that trend line right now. Look at that. Let's get rid of that one. Again, I quite like the break and retest short of pre-market low. Break and retest. Or I like the break and retest long over pre-market high, which is also Friday's high. And that's the only two plays I can see on there. Maybe you can watch for the bounce of pre-market low again. And then Bitcoin. It says it's down, but we're doing okay on Bitcoin. Approaching the 70,000 mark. Let's go to the daily. and we've been watching this for some time, this big cup and handle pattern. We've got the cup here, and we've got the handle pattern here, and we've been watching it for the breakout, which we said is more bullish than it is bearish, this pattern. So we've been up here, I got a bit excited, too excited, and added a bit more for the breakout. So I got excited again here and added, it came back, but it's finally broken out. Very small adds. In fact, I added a bit more than I wanted to here, which I took some profits out up here, so I got made up for it, and I'm still in. So we've got this trend line setting up here. We've got this inverse pattern setting up there, W bottom, and a break and retest of this region as well. So looking pretty bullish right now. I think if we can pull back today and retest the highs of September, which is that area there, 65,000, then we can watch potentially for another add area. But at the moment I'm happy to add. If we can break some pivots and we do a break and retest, I may look for an add. Break those pivots, look for an add, or even all-time highs, break and retest. Only a break and retest, look for some highs. Otherwise, we don't want to get caught out on it just poking out over there and coming back down. And obviously I want to add when we come back down into this region, 50,000 and probably 60,000 again. And that's it. ES, let's have a quick look before we go. Still looking strong. Order flow still looking interesting. You can see on here this price is still increasing even right now, but the order flow is looking negative. And even the last few bits we've had these big indecision candle and a couple of green candles, and we're starting to get some negative order flow. And then if we look at the footprint chart, do you see anything unusual? So we've got a red candle here with a green delta, and even that got cumulative delta of one. Well, it's about average really, looking at the others. Here we've got a green candle with a red delta. Red and red, green, green. Some potential selling on that side there. Still looking pretty strong. You know, we've got a green candle here currently setting up, and we've got a red delta currently, but the candle's not finished yet. So, you know, we may see a bit of a reversal at the open, so just keep an eye on that. But that's it, that's my plan done for today. Don't forget to hit the like button, and the stream is also live. This order flow is live on my other stream right now. Trade safe, and I'll be back tomorrow.